day to all aspiring nurses, to all nursing students out there in the Philippines. I hope you're doing good, you're doing well, especially this time of pandemic. And I hope and pray that you are all well, you are all protected, you are all with your family, especially, and you are continuing your journey on becoming the future nurses of this country, of this world, and I hope and pray blessings to you. So, for this video lecture series, we are going to discuss one of the most important topics, although it's sometimes uh, discussed lesser, especially during your first year, but you come to realize it during the years ahead of you, and this is very important, especially you are honed, you are molded, you are developed to be a very good, very competent nurse. Um, um, this is all about the core competencies under the 11 key areas of responsibilities. And during your nursing career, being a student, I know this is taught to you by your CIs, or your educators, your clinical instructors, or lecturers in your respective institutions. So this is just a brief rundown or review or refresher of that topic. Again, this is very important on your journey on becoming a future nurse. What are the um, attributes? What are the competencies? What are the responsibilities that you should have um, as a nurse? So if you're still a first year, it is expected that you are already oriented, okay, of what is expected from you, uh, of a from a future nurse like you. So every day you visualize, every day you pray, every day you do your best on reaching that goal of yours, on becoming a nurse. Okay, so let me start discussing it. So core competencies under the 11 key areas of responsibilities. So this is the first part of this video lecture, and I will be dividing this 11 key areas of responsibilities with respective indicators, respective core competencies in the different uh, videos. So I ask you to subscribe and to follow this video series, this channel, for you to be updated of the continuation of this video lecture series. And I'll be uploading video lectures of the different topics under nursing that you might use in your everyday reviews, studies, and I'll try my best to give the simplest, the most facilitating way for you to understand the topics. So um, thank you so much. So let me start from the start. So we have as a nurse and as a developing nurse, we're expected to have competencies. We are, or in other words, we are expected to be competent. Okay, and when you say you are competent, or you have that competency, you have that in our language, no, sa nursing, we have that knowledge, we have that skills, we have that attitude. In other references, we have that values of becoming a nurse. In other translations, in other references, we have that ability, okay, to practice nursing. okay, in terms of knowledge, in terms of skills, and in terms of meeting the needs of our clients. And we are expected to be what's this? To be accurate, to be logical, and the nursing competency is also divided into four areas, which I'll be introducing later. Um, and this is also based on a CMO number 14 series of 2009, which I think, though it's already this year, 2021, it's still important to discuss this, because no matter what year we are, no matter what CMO or circular memorandum orders will be published, it is still the competencies that is very important of a nurse. And if you happen to browse the internet or other references, especially other parts of the or other countries, you may encounter that every country have different presentations of competencies, of key areas of responsibilities. Other countries have lesser number. Okay? If we have 11, other countries like Hong Kong, I think, have 5, others have 7. So it boils to one, that a nurse, for that matter, should be competent. Okay, so I'll be focusing my this video lecture series on the Philippine setting. Okay, on what is this, on CMO number 14 series of 2009. So it is what's this? The BSM program here in the Philippines aims to prepare a nurse that is competent. Okay, so uh, being a competent nurse also have core values. Okay, uh, as I've said, during your first year already, you're prepared by your institutions. Once you step foot on that institution, once you have enrolled on that course, expected that since from day one you'll be molded. That's why if you happen to what's this to notice, first year you're already prepared for board examinations, you're already prepared for wearing that white uniform, you're already prepared for going RLEs. That's how we are trained in the nursing education. Okay, so, and as part of the institution, we hope and pray that you carry that values, carry that teachings, you carry that learnings, experiences when you become a nurse already, so that you can also have a change, a contribution in our profession. So first, before we proceed to the main core competencies, we have these core values, okay, that a nurse um, should always keep in mind, keep in heart. So these are also important components. As said in the same mode, these are important components in the development of a professional nurse. So this is always emphasized, the core values, and it's also emphasized that nurses are caring persons. Uh, Care is our core. Oh, sorry. Yes. And but before that, the first core value that is being taught to us is love of God. Always, anything, right? Any matter, in relation to our profession, personal life, we always seek God first. That's our first core value. Then second is caring as a core of nursing, and it's always, as I've said earlier, it's always emphasized that this is our core, this is our foundation, this is what we are known for. Nurses are caring. Nursing is caring. Okay, and under that being a caring nurse, we have to be compassionate, we have to be competent, we have to be confident, we have that sense of conscience and that commitment. So, and many more actually under the caring aspect. And when you see, I just want to emphasize um, a commitment. Yeah, when you say you are committed or you have that sense of commitment, you're committed to excellence in whatever you do. You always give your best as a nurse, as a developing nurse. Commitment to discipline, okay? Um, for yourself as you relate to others. Integrity, that sense of integrity, that you do what is best even nobody is looking. Maybe this is one of the simplest explanation of being having that sense of integrity, doing good, doing what is best, okay? For you, for your profession, for your patient, even nobody is looking. Okay? And the sense of professionalism. Then we also have the love of people. Okay? How do you show love to your patient? For example, aside from the services that you give, okay, more than that is you should do it of quality, of um, um, respect for the dignity of the person. Okay, then love of country it is being shown by your patriotism and your preservation and enrichment of environment and culture heritage. And when you say patriotism, this is engagement in and fulfilling your social civic duties, uh, but is responsibility in the community when you become a nurse or as you prepare yourself as a nurse. Okay? And what do you contribute in the community, in the society? Okay? And um, contributing to do good in the community also. And what can you contribute in good governance in this government, in this country, in this state, okay? Or being local in your own communities, in your barangays, okay? So that's those are the these are the core values of an expected nurse. Okay, so this aside from the competencies that you are going to be having, you should always carry these core values. Okay, as I have mentioned earlier, these are important components in the development, in the molding, okay, in shaping professional nurses of our country. Okay, so the same of 14, the program Bachelor of Science in Nursing wants to have a transdisciplinary approach that enhances the core values of a soon-to-be nurse. Okay? And according to CMO 14, series of 2009, the BSN program aims to prepare a nurse upon completion of a program which demonstrates or who demonstrates beginning professional competencies and shall continue to assume responsibility for professional research findings in the practice of the profession. Okay, so the gist there is having the competencies, okay, having the abilities, having the knowledge, the skills, the attitude, the values, okay, for assuming responsibility of becoming a professional nurse, okay, whether in the field of education, whether in the field of practice, okay, or in the research, or in your own in the entire society or the larger society, okay. So uh, um, first year, okay, you're really expected to demonstrate, okay, these competencies, okay, gradually. You're introduced to this gradually or being exposed to this gradually, and you will learn this. You should imbibe this as you go through your nursing career. So these are um, key areas of responsibilities that a nurse should demonstrate competence. Okay, so in other words, without these manifestations, you can be considered incompetent in this key area. Okay, this key area. That's very challenging on our part. That's very demanding on our part, and we are expected to really meet these responsibilities of our profession. Okay? And I believe that this should be discussed to, to, to students who really wants to or who really want to be a nurse, so that they would understand that this is nursing, this is the profession, okay, that you are wanting, that you are aspiring. It's not all about big money, okay, that would come, okay, but you should be equipped. You should be having these competencies first. You should be having this knowledge, these skills, okay, uh, attitude, okay. So, what is the significance of this core competencies? So, may I enumerate first? First is unifying framework for nursing practice, education, regulation. And when you say unifying framework for nursing practice, education, this is the the core competencies is the connection, okay, among the different fields of nursing, in practice, education, regulation, okay. So that is the fusion of nursing in regardless of what area of what aspect, okay. That's the thing that connects the practice, the profession of nursing. Okay? It combines all aspects of nursing. Okay? So, which is the core values. Ibig sabihin, whether you are in the community, you're in the education, you're in the clinical setting, you should have this competencies. Okay? You should have this concept. You should have um, these competencies with you. And the second, guide in nursing curriculum development. Okay, so when you say curriculum, these are the courses offered by an institution, by a school. Okay, so in the development, in the creation, in the making of the curriculum, one guide, one factor to be considered is the core competencies. Okay. Then remember that it is very important really to consider core competencies of a nurse, because you are developing a nurse. Okay, you're dealing with students who wants to be a nurse. Okay, and number three, framework in developing test syllabus for nursing profession entrance. So these are for basis of the test framework of the PRC Board of Nursing. Um, these are bases or guide for conceptualizing the examinations for aspiring nurses. And you are expected, okay, as an aspirant to have this already, okay, and that's why it is being uh, placed, okay, in your examinations, okay. Um, this one way of applying already what you know, what you have learned, what you have planted during your 4 years of studying nursing. Okay, it's not only the theories or principles of the different subjects, but much more of these competencies. The number four, it's a tool, measure for the nurse's performance evaluation in the practice of a practicing nurse already. Okay, so this is not only for aspiring nurses. This is not only for students, but even so for the nurses already. Okay? Then basis for advanced nursing practice, uh, specialization. Um, this is a indicator or a manifestation that you can already advance, okay, in your careers once you have these competencies. It's either you can say it to yourself that you can already advance your career, that you're already competent enough, or the people around your colleagues. Okay? Then framework for developing nursing training curriculum. As I've said, this is not only for students but also for professional nurses, right? Especially those in the clinical setting or any institution that has training programs for nurses. This is still one of the basis, okay, to measure or to standards aside from what's already set, okay, um, to know if a nurse or aspiring nurse is competent. Then uh, public protection from incompetent practitioners. Okay, um, this is one of the best significance. As personally, uh, uh, this is to protect people, protect the public from incompetent practitioners. Aside from when one of your evidence of competence should be your license, okay, license, and these core competencies should protect the public from incompetent practitioners, from incompetent nurses, okay. And that's why it's very important later when you become a nurse or as you study nursing, you already have the feel, you already have that um, knowledge or realization on what practice, on what field, on what aspect of nursing do you want. And there are, yes, blessed nursing or that are really did their way, that they are very flexible in whatever area they are into. But there are nurses also that really want specializations. They're good at here, but not so good here. So I think that can be a factor also. Then yardstick for unethical or unprofessional nursing practice. Um, when you say yardstick, this is the standard of measure, standard of judgment, as Miriam would say for the term yardstick, uh, for you to know what is unethical, unprofessional nursing practice, or in our same law, 14 would say illegal, unethical practice. So whatever that is going against the nursing law, or a bigger picture is the Constitution is considered to be unprofessional, illegal, and ethical. Okay, so these are the significance of the different core competencies in the 11 areas of responsibilities. So this is also nice to or important to know. Okay, so let me introduce you the core competencies. Okay, so we have um, divided this 11 key areas of responsibilities on 4 major competencies. So one is patient care competencies. Then the next one is enhancing competencies. Enhance your practice, your profession. Then for patient care competencies, that's obvious. How will you give very good patient care, quality patient care, right? Then empowering your profession through these empowering competencies, practicing it right, it good, it morally, okay, and expected of you from the standards of the nursing profession here in the Philippines or international standards. So let me just go back and enumerate. Under patient care competencies, we have safe quality care, communication competencies, collaboration and teamwork competencies, and health education competency. For enhancing competencies, we have research, quality improvement. And for empowering competencies, we have legal responsibilities, ethico-moral responsibilities, personal and professional development, and the last one, we have your enabling competencies. Okay, management of resources and environment, and the last one is records management. Okay, but during my presentation later, this would not be the case of or the sequence of presentation, but I'll divide it into shorter video lectures. Okay, so I'll be presenting 11 as video lectures, um, going in depth with the different competencies, with the different key areas of responsibility. So just to emphasize, this is under Article 3 of our Philippine Nursing Act of 2000, and it's under or what we call Republic Act 9173, and states that the PRC and the Board of Nursing is empowered to monitor and enforce quality standard of nursing practice in the Philippines and exercise the powers necessary to ensure the maintenance of efficient, ethical, and technical moral and professional standards on the practice of nursing, taking into account the health needs of the nation. So, one way of ensuring the maintenance of efficient, ethical, and technical and moral and professional standards is having these core competencies. Yeah. So, it's stated in our law. Okay. So, these are the 11, okay, key areas of responsibilities, and in developing, okay, a nurse, okay, or nurses, this would, as we have mentioned earlier in the significance, this would be a good measure for us in the nursing profession uh, to know who will be competent and not so competent or incompetent professionals, and for us to know what are your areas of strength and weaknesses. So as I've discussed this, I suggest that later on, this would be your guide, especially when I already discussed the indicators. Okay? Nursing competency is is an ability, okay, that is required of us to fulfill. Okay? And we are required also to fulfill our nursing responsibilities. Is it our responsibility to have this competency? Yes, we're expected of that. Okay? That's why it's really a challenge. Okay? And it's important to clearly define these competencies, to present these competencies in order for the nursing aspirants or the nurse aspirants to have a very good foundation, very good basis, okay, of um, becoming a nurse, or in other aspects, very good, very good um, basis for nursing education. Okay, um, it's also important to know, okay, how to develop nurses. Okay, and one factor in developing nurses are having these core competencies. Okay, so the quality of nursing is really demanding. Okay, if I may use that word, and we should meet those demands of the nursing profession. It is really expected of us. Um, this is very, very challenging. So why um, first year students, or before you enroll, you are really asked, do you really want to become a nurse? You really want to study this 4 years, the subjects, okay? But unknowingly during those questions, those asking of questions is much more is expected from you, much more is demanded from you. But on the other hand, okay, you, for those who are watching this video lecture series, personally, I hope and pray, okay, with faith and action, with your perseverance, determination, you will become a nurse, okay? Whether it's here in the Philippines or different parts of the world. So, this is the first part of my video lecture series under key areas of responsibilities, the core competencies of the nursing profession in the Philippines. And I hope to see you in the next video lecture series to come. So, next is our first competency, safety and quality care. So, see you on the next video lecture series. This is Sir Emil, or I usually say my name, Sir ONE, your online nursing educator or nurse educator. Thank you for watching.